You open this side door, and of course Norman's placed our boots here so that they will stay warm, because we had them in the storage area and it was like freezing. But you walk up this little stair here, there's my feet, and this door is the bathroom. There's the toilet, and there's the shower. Driver's seat, passenger seat. I'm going to close the door so we have a little privacy here. And here's our kitchen area, and I've only taken one step in each direction. So there's our kitchen area. We have a sink, stovetop, refrigerator, which we had to duct tape closed because it kept opening up. 2 drawers, cutlery and other tools in here. There's storage area, little cabinet. Our coffee maker is in there, and cleaning fluids. And in here is another storage area where we have a paper towel, some clothes, and our sitting area. 2 couches that turn into a bed. There's our cooler, which Norman cleverly has tied to the door, because it was, see, he tied it to the door along with his backpack because it kept sliding around. Here's our back windows. And that's one way to get out of this van, is the back doors there. So we have cabinets, and our comforters are very comfy, but they're a little too fluffy. So the cabinet will not close properly. So before we go, I'm like a stewardess. I double check to see every cabinet is closed. I push in the button to make sure that that's locked. There's another storage area where we keep our table. The post of our table and our 2 pillows are up here. Kleenex. The tabletop is behind the driver's seat. And that's our tabletop right here. So that's it. This is our whole area. Our bed, kitchen, front seat, bathroom, and this is a closet.
One of the things about this van is it's got a vent fan on the roof. You can turn it on and off, different speeds. But this closes a hatch, which is something you have to do before you move. Otherwise you might rip it off. This is the breaker panel. I removed the cover. That's duct tape. That's our all-purpose friend. Now, this is our breaker panel. It's got fuses for the DC, 12 volts, and it's got breakers for 110. This camper van has an inverter, which is behind here, down below. But one of the things, we tripped the inverter a couple times, and I think I've kind of figured it out. This works with the inverter, and this gives you the battery voltage, which is currently high. Under loads it'll drop, and the right indicator tells you that we're in an inverting mode right now, and that's what this selector says, auto invert. We have a stove and we have a hot water heater. If you turn on the stove, which is currently off, but I turned on the breaker, you'll see it's hot. We were just cooking. So with power on, it will indicate that. Now I'm going to turn the breaker off, and you see it's still warm. You can see a light goes off. But here's the trick. This supposedly has an inline, what they call an inline water heater, hot water heater. Well, it's not. It's a tank. And I think that's why we tripped the inverter a couple times. I'm going to throw that breaker on and watch what happens. This is the hot water heater coming in. Interesting, huh? There you go. We're in low battery. Okay. And that's because there's a load on the inverter right now. So it's drawing everything down. The solar says we're at 12.5 volts. This is dropped off. Now I'm going to turn off that breaker for the water heater and watch what happens. Up to 13 volts, and this is now back to high battery voltage. That's, I suspect what was happening was with both the stove and the hot water heater on, there would sometimes be a massive draw current, high current, and the inverter couldn't keep up. So we turn these off now when we're traveling, unless we want hot water. We make sure they're not both are on at the same time. So I'll turn the hot water back on because we'll be heating water as we're driving. Anytime Georgie wants, she gets nice hot water that way. Whee! Takes a few minutes to heat up. Yeah, she likes her hot water. Okay.
For lunch.
Yeah, well actually this is breakfast round
Brunch.
2. Brunch. There's
Brunch.
Georgie.
Gotta
Getting
take
ready
out
to
your
set up.
pots and pans.
Yep, we're getting ready to cook here.
Keep them in the cabinet so they don't bounce around.
Yep. So this is where we're having breakfast, or brunch as she calls it.
As you see, we have a beautiful stovetop. Okay, this is an electric stovetop. Here's our fake marble counter. And we have a sink for washing dishes.
With running water, no less?
The water actually will run.
Is it
We've
warm
already
now,
put
Georgie?
things in.
Is it warm now?
The water is not warm yet.
Yeah.
We did turn on the breaker
For the heater.
for the heater. When you turn on the water, it sounds like you're running something major.
I hear the pump.
The pump is pumping. So we will have to wait a momentarily.
And this is the circuit breaker panel. See, this is it right here, water heater. We just turned that on. It takes about 10 minutes for it to heat up. There's a 120 volt breaker panel, and then there's 12 volt DC for everything. We have solar panels on the rooftop for charging. That's what this is. Here Georgie's running water.
All right,
Amazing.
this is amazing. We
And we have an inverter on this system, which means that we're drawing power off of deep discharge battery, and it's being converted to 120 volt AC, so outlets like this one are powered up. So we're making brunch here. This is a beef barley soup, Progresso. We've added some steak, some garlic red potatoes, and we're heating it on the stove here. And that's the view from our windows. We're parked here in Arches